Hey Holly, it's Kelly Shelton. Sorry that it took me a while to get my video, but I had to be in my space. This is at the Y. So what I'm definitely interested in teaching. I'm definitely interested in teaching women, and I'm interested in incarcerated women. I was in jail for 30 days myself, and I feel like I can have a connection with them. I am very good friends with the sheriff of Gaston County. That's where I live. The problem is COVID. So I haven't even really approached the subject with him yet, especially because this summer and George Floyd starting everything off. So I don't need to explain, you know what I'm talking about. I feel like timing is everything, and I haven't felt like the time is right to even talk about myself going into the jail and putting myself in COVID-19 jail. So what I've been thinking about, what I can do right now and what I can teach to right now are activists. I'm actually really interested in teaching to activists, especially people of color, especially Black people. So I'm thinking that I need to bite the bullet and get a Zoom and start doing a Zoom for free for people that are activists in my community, and even open it up broader. But so that's kind of where my brain is going with that. I also am involved with theater in the school system here in Gaston County, in Gastonia. I'm particularly one school. And so I'm also thinking about how I can apply the therapy of yoga to students in school. So they're two totally different things. So right now, the class that I'm going to give for 30 minutes for you to look at, I'm gonna do what I would do with women of color that are activists, that are my friends. Okay, so that's my class. So here we go. Also, Holly, this is not what I would wear, but this is what I have, and it's all black, and I've got a little pop of color, but for me that's this is as don't look at me as possible. Okay. Hi, thank you so much for coming and joining me. My name is Kelly Shelton, and this is yoga. We're gonna do some light movement. This is only gonna be for 30 minutes. And light movement, all you need is a mat. You really don't even need a yoga mat. If you're watching this and you're at home, if you have a carpeted floor, you're great, you'll be fine. If you're on hardwood, you might want to get a blanket. Sometimes you can step off of the blanket so that your feet feel more steady. Otherwise, it's totally fine. I happen to have a yoga mat because I've been doing this forever. So again, it's totally cool. Yoga yoga's for everybody. So I hope that you enjoy, and I hope that, more importantly, I really hope that you can take some of what we do in the next 30 minutes and apply it to your everyday life. Maybe there's just one thing that you can take with you and put in your little back pocket. All right, I would like to start out curled up in what's called child's pose, okay? So, your body, you're the world's leading expert of your body, okay? You know what your body needs, so I invite you to come down to the ground. I like to have my toes touching in the back and my knees out wide so that I have some space for my belly and my chest to go. And then I like my arms to come forward. So you could be here, you can have your knees close together, you can have your hips up high, you can have your hips close to your heels, you can have your arms curled in and your head resting on your arms, you can reach your arms back behind you. It's really what feels good to you, okay? And while you're here, I just want you to notice. Just notice what you're feeling. What's underneath your hands? Is it the floor? Is it the slick hardwood or tile? Linoleum? Is it carpet? Is it a mat? Is there texture? Is there a smell? You notice that maybe you need to bring some movement, just a little bit, into your body. Can you feel the ground underneath you, the floor? And where does your body make contact with the floor? Feel that support. The support of the floor, of your own body, and then of your breath. Can you feel your body moving with your inhale, with your breathing in and breathing out? Maybe you feel your body lift and your body expand as you breathe in. And maybe there's just a little bit of sense of letting go as you breathe out. We'll just be here a little bit longer. Might notice some sensation in your feet, your legs, your back. For 3, for 2, and for 1. I like to bring my arms very carefully back, close to my knees, and then gently press my way up. you might just pop right up, and that's fine. But I like to take time. And while we're here, let's take a little walk forward so that the hands and the knees are underneath our bodies. And maybe even tuck your toes in the back. And just do a gentle push back in the hands and come forward. If you need to put something underneath your knees, you can grab a little blanket and put it under your knees. You can, if you have this mat, you can roll it up if you need to. You can even grab a pillow from a couch or something, or your bed. We're just rocking forward and back, noticing some sensation in the feet. Do a lot of walking on our feet. It's nice to get a little stretch going. If it's too much and it's not nice at all, you don't have to do it. You can do the same thing by keeping the feet down, pushing back and coming forward. It is all good. For 3, for 2, and for 1. And let's take a leg back. Doesn't matter. Take your leg back. I'm going to walk forward so you can still see me. I've got my toe down in the ground. My heel is up. And I'm just going to do the same kind of motion. Just pushing forward and back. Noticing my breath. Breathing in and out. Just pushing forward and back. And I notice when I push back that I'm a little tight in the back of my leg, close to my heel, close to my feet. That's my calf. Notice I feel a little tight. So maybe you want to take a moment, push back and hang out there for a second. Just breathe in and out here. Maybe even squeeze that back thigh. For 3, for 2, for 1, and release. And then maybe you can even lift your back leg so that the foot is off the ground. And it's like you're pushing back into a wall with your heel. We want to squeeze our belly tight to our spine. And then maybe even walk your opposite fingers forward. Maybe even lift the fingers. And feel the ground again. Feel the ground underneath you. Feel that floor holding you up. The strength of your body. And then gently come down. And maybe it would feel good to go back into that child's pose again. And maybe your child's pose looks different this time. Maybe it looks the same. Maybe you don't want to be on your forehead and you want to rest on one cheek or the other. Just to take a moment to notice the sensation of that movement. For 3, for 2, and for 1, and let's come back up to our floors again. And this time, switch legs, and the other leg will be extended. Again, the toes are in the ground, and we're just going to do that rocking movement, rocking back and forth. Just nice and slow and steady. Not too fast, not too slow. Same pace, forward and back. Noticing the breath. Maybe even noticing that your hands are pushing down into the floor. Maybe even like a little bend to the elbows just so they're not locked in. If your wrists start to hurt, you can do this on your knuckles, totally fine. You can even do this on your forearms. Just going back and forth, stretching that back calf muscle. Let's take a hold and hold back. And squeeze that back thigh. And again, I notice how tight I am in that calf muscle. We've been doing a lot of walking, a lot of work in the neighborhoods, a lot of marching, a lot of work at the poles. Our legs deserve this stretch. For 3, for 2, for 1, and come back forward, and then maybe again lifting that back leg, and maybe walking the opposite arm forward with the fingers, and maybe the fingers want to stay down on this side. And again, that back foot, it's like it's pushing into the wall with the whole foot. Maybe lifting the front arm, bringing it up to the ear. Maybe keeping the belly tight to the spine. For 3, for 2, you are strong and can do hard things, and release. And then maybe sit back in a child's pose. And again, maybe your child's pose looks different here than when we started. Maybe your breath feels different. Maybe your body got a little heat. And then let's release. And I invite you to come down onto your belly, onto the ground. And let's play with the arm placement. So we're going to do what's called a sphinx, all right? And in this pose, there's a lot of ways that you can allow your body to be. So I like to first notice my feet. And the closer my feet are, the more I feel in my low back. And the more my feet are apart, the less I feel. So for me, I like to take my feet a little bit wider. So play with your feet placement, bringing them close together, bringing them apart, and seeing what feels best in your low back. And then let's have the elbows. They're kind of in towards the body. You might like the elbows out. It might feel good. You might like to walk the hands a little more forward. But where I want you to feel is in the front of the body. And I want you to get a gentle stretch. So again, just playing with where your arms want to be and taking a moment to breathe here. Feeling the front of the body. I feel a stretch. My breathing is a little bit tougher. It's a little harder to breathe. For 3, for 2, for 1, and take a moment to allow the arms to come out and rest your head down. Just rest on the mat. You can even bring your hands together and let your forehead rest on your hands. It's not often that we allow ourselves to lie down on our bellies. And just notice the floor underneath you and what it feels like to be held up by the floor in this shape. For 3, for 2, and for 1. And I want you to come up to standing. You can get there however you want. I like to tuck my toes, walk up to my floors, tuck my toes here, and then rock back and walk my feet to my hands and my hands to my feet. And maybe it feels good to take a moment to hang over and let the head, neck, and shoulders kind of do a little wobble out. Sometimes it's also fun to notice what it's like to be upside down. And then come up to standing, however you want to get there. And as you're standing, maybe adjust your feet a little. I like to kind of rock forward and back and side to side. Bring my feet closer together. Play with them, starting to walk apart, just so that I can get my feet underneath my body so that I can feel supported and stable. And we're going for a mountain pose, and push your feet down onto the ground. Imagine that you're going to jump off the ground. So when you push your feet down, there's a little bit of a bend in the knees, but then you like squeeze your thighs a lot, and then you can feel everything squeezing, and then you feel a lift, and your belly is squeezing in towards your back, and then lift up through the top of your head. Like you can even put your hand on the top of your head, and it's like you're lifting and pressing into the top of your head and lengthening from the floor all the way up to your head, all the way up and out the ceiling. And then allow the hands to be by your body, but see if you can pull the shoulders back and flip the hands forward. And it's almost like, I always feel when I do that, it's like I'm radiating. It's like I'm shining forward. And then see if you can bring some space to your fingers. So this is called mountain pose, and you think of a mountain being really sturdy and heavy from the base and lifting strong all the way up the peak, out the top, into the sky. And so just take a moment to breathe here and feel your mountain. Eyes can be open or closed, it doesn't matter. And then let's lift the arms up and then let the arms go. Let's take up some space. So like really reach out and up and out and down. And maybe it even feels nice to breathe in as you lift up and breathe out as you come down. It's okay if that's too difficult. Lifting up and coming down. I like to pretend like my fingers are painting in the sky. I don't know. just reaching up, reaching down, really creating your own space, taking up space. You deserve to take up space. Maybe you want to take up so much space that you're going to turn towards the front of the mat, the long side, and you can even take up space with your legs, and maybe you want to start moving into one leg and the other. Maybe that doesn't feel good at all. And maybe you want to even reach one side and the other. And your body can just start to move to what feels good to your body. Maybe you can even reach all the way out. Again, your body taking up space. Feeling all the space between you, around you, in front of you, maybe even behind you. And noticing your breath. And maybe you even come down and take space down low. And you walk from side to side. And eventually, what does it feel like to find yourself in the center? I like to bring my toes forward. And you can have your hands out in front of you, underneath your shoulders, kind of like a tabletop. You can bend your knees a whole lot. You can even reach your hands back and bring your head down towards the ground. You can also have a pillow or 5 underneath you if you need to have some lift. You can even grab a chair or a sofa so that you stop halfway. Just what feels good here. And maybe there's a little bit of movement or none at all. And then take notice here of what you feel. I notice that I feel a lot of sensation inside my legs and the inside. I feel sensation in my backside. And we're here for 3, and 2, and 1. And turn the toes out. I like to place my hands on my thighs and come up. And let's walk back to that mountain pose. Feet under the hips again. And just take a little bit of time and just feel mountain pose. And feel your body. Eyes are open or closed. And notice. Notice your breath, notice your muscles. Maybe you notice that there aren't as many thoughts in your head. Maybe not. Let's take in arms up. Maybe breathe in. And let's bring our arms all the way down into a forward fold. And bring your hands to your legs and lift your heart and come up halfway. And then let it go. Breathe. And bend the knees, push through the feet, and lift up. And then let it go. All right. And come to the tip top of your mat. And finding that mountain, pick a leg, any leg, it doesn't matter. I'm going to start with my right leg. Pick the leg, and let's take the leg back, and then decide where your legs need to be. Does it feel good where it is? Does your leg need to get closer? Does it need to move further back, closer together, further apart? Just adjust your feet so that you, again, it's that feeling stable. And feel your feet in the ground. And I'm just doing a little straightening of the front leg and extending and bending. And if that feels good, you can join me, or maybe you want to just go right into bending that front leg. I notice that my hip in the back is slightly open. And maybe there's some movement with the arms. Maybe the arms come up and down. Maybe it's one arm and then the other. Maybe the arms make circles. Go in one direction and the other. Maybe they're moving out and up. Just feeling the body, feeling the movement. For 3, for 2, and for 1. Step forward. Take a moment and notice before you switch sides. And when you're ready, step your other leg back. And this leg, this side of the body, it is crazy how different our sides of the body are. But, so notice this side of your body, notice where you need your feet, adjust your feet however you need. Maybe the foot needs to come forward, maybe it needs to go back, maybe they need to be wider apart, closer together. I don't know. Play with it and decide. And then allow the feet to push down into the ground and straighten and bend your front leg, if that feels okay. And again, maybe there's arm movement here. Maybe the arm movement is different. Maybe it's the same. What feels good here? What does your body need here? What do you want to do? For 3, for 2, and for 1. Step forward. Find your mountain. Eyes open or closed, and feel. Feel the sensations in my muscles, especially in my legs. It's like little echoes. It's like it goes up the body. My heart rate is faster. And I feel like I could do some balance here, so I'd like to work on some balance. So I'm just turning so that you can see me, but we want to find a focal point, okay? So something to stare at. And I noticed that my chair that I have, on the back of the chair, there's a lot of little polka dots. And so I like to find one little polka dot, one dot to stare at. And to decide which leg I'm going to balance on first, maybe it's okay to do a little rock side to side, play with picking one foot up and then the other. And then when you've decided which leg feels like it's ready to go first, I like to do a little bend and extend in that leg that I have picked. And just like mountain pose, in our balance, it's like you're gonna jump off with one foot. It's like you're gonna do jump with one leg. So, again, pushing that foot down in the floor like you're gonna jump up. A little bend in the knee, squeezing the thigh, squeezing the belly, lengthening out the head. And then, what does this other leg wanna do? Does it wanna be on the ground? On your foot on the leg with your toe in the ground, or do you want to be, I like to go right below my knee. And then lengthen up. And then where do you want your hands? You can have them at your hips. You can have them out. They could be up to the sky. I guess that's the ceiling. Woo. For 3, for 2, for 1. Shake that out. And then we switch. So go into that other leg, getting prepared. Little bend, extend. And again, it's like you're gonna jump up with that one leg. So pushing down into the ground, little bend in the knees, squeezing the thighs, squeezing the belly, and then where does this other leg wanna go? Is it gonna go out on the ground, slightly on the leg, or whole foot on the leg? This standing leg is so different. And then where do you want your hands for this side? Is this side more or less steady? I notice I'm shaky on this side. I like to stay connected with my hands and my legs on this side. Oh, for 3, for 2, and for 1. And walk your way into mountain pose. One last time. And feel. And notice. Notice the sensation of the poses. Your breath. Gently shake that out. Let's come down to the ground. And I'd like to do one more. So come down onto your backs and bring your feet in. And hands on the ground, and take a moment to notice, do your feet need to be closer to your hips, or do they need to be further away? Do your hands feel good where they are? I like my palms to be flipped down. And take a moment to notice where your body is making connection with the floor. Now, it's a different connection, it's a different feeling. And I'd like you to really press your feet down into the floor. And when you do that, when I do that, I feel sensation in my thighs. My thighs start to work, really start to engage. And I can really get my backside to engage. And then squeeze your belly tight. Keep that navel to the spine. And think about the hips coming up a little closer towards your ribs as you lift up and push through the feet. And then maybe come right back down. And notice if you breathe in or out. Is it easier to lift if you breathe in or if you breathe out? Just take some time to come up and to come down. I notice if I breathe out, I have a little more support. I feel more supported to be able to go into that position. And then I want you to come up and hold. Can you do that? Can you come up and hold? How does that feel? If it doesn't feel good, just keep with the up-down movement. It's fine. Maybe you feel like you need to adjust and move your shoulders. Maybe your hands need to come up underneath your hips and hold your low body up. You can take as much support as you need here. For 3, for 2, for 1, and come down. And do what feels good here. Sometimes I like to bring my feet together and my knees open, kind of like a butterfly. Sometimes it feels good to take my feet wide and bring my knees in. Sometimes it feels good to allow my knees to rock side to side. Just do what feels good to you here. And allowing the feet to come to that same position where we were before starting our bridge. Let your arms come out to where they're comfortable. I like to lift my arms up a little bit further away from my body. So you're kind of out from my shoulders. And then allow your knees to go to one direction. I like to lift my knees up and take them over. And maybe that feels good. Maybe you can adjust your upper body. Maybe you need to bend your arms a little. I like to take one of my hands and place it on my legs. You might want to extend your leg, your top leg out. Do whatever feels good here. Just taking some time to feel this shape. Center, and then make your way to the other side however you need, letting your knees go to the other direction. Adjust your body around. Maybe this side of your body needs something completely different than what it needed on the other side. Just notice feels like to be on this shape, on this side of your body. For 3, and 2, and 1. Let that go. Find your center. And then make your way back to a seat. You can grab your legs and hoist up. You can rock yourself up, or you can even roll to one side and use your arm and your hand to walk yourself up. And find a seat, any kind of seat, it doesn't matter. Legs can be crisscross or not. Just something that's comfortable. And let your arms go to one direction. Notice your back. Notice the little twist in your back. Maybe it feels good to have your hand all the way over, or maybe your hand needs to just go, stay where it is, the front arm. Maybe it feels good to look really far back. Maybe it's too much. Decide what you need. Feel the twist here. Just notice. Let that go. Maybe do a little shoulder roll in between before you switch sides. This side's different. I notice that I feel more stable, I feel more supported if my back hand is close to my body. Might feel really good for you to have your arm far away. That's cool. Decide where your eyes need to be. For 3, and 2, and 1. And our last thing I would like to teach you. My teacher calls this candle breath, and you can use that image. You can, so you're going to use one hand, okay? And you think of a flame, a candle. Think of your fingers as candles. And I like to think of, I'm not going to blow the candle out. I just want to see the candle flame dance with my breath. So we're going to breathe in and then slowly breathe out to our thumb. Okay, so breathe in and don't blow the candle out, but feel the breath on your thumb. And then breathe in and move to your first finger and breathe out. And move to your middle finger, breathe in and breathe out. And move to your ring finger, breathe in and breathe out. And to your pinky, breathe in and breathe out. Go with your breath on these last 5. Go again one more time. Breathing in. It's just a time to allow the body to kind of remember what it just did. Feel the benefits. So if you're in a cozy space, whatever's best for you, it doesn't matter. Your eyes can be open or closed. Notice where your body makes connection with the ground. Notice the clothes making connection with your body. If you feel some air touching your skin. And notice if there are a lot of thoughts in your head, and that's okay. But maybe for these next few moments, you can try the candle breath. Maybe you can just see the candle in your head. And breathe in and breathe out. See if the flame can dance with your breath. And I'm going to take a few minutes to be quiet. Start to bring some movement into your fingers, into your toes. Maybe you want to stretch. Maybe you want to reach your arms overhead. Maybe you want to hug your knees into your heart. Give your legs a hug. Maybe there's a stretch you need to do that your body just feels. Give yourself permission to do what you need. Before you make your way to seated. And again, you can have your eyes open or closed. And just like in mountain pose, just like in our balance, notice your seat. And push your hips down into the ground like you were going to lift off. And lengthen your back, lengthen the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. And notice how you feel right now. Do you feel different than when you started? It's totally cool if you don't, but if you do feel different, and know that you did that for yourself today. The light in me acknowledges and sees the light in you. Namaste. I talked a lot.